Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, and hedge fund manager Jimmy Valley have both made very bullish statements on XRP recently. Brad Garlinghouse explained that XRP was created before Ripple, and its creators decided to make it 100 billion units because they wanted it to be a global reserve currency rather than a smaller number with a very high price. Hedge fund manager Jimmy Valley went on to make a statement regarding the potential use of XRP as the world's reserve currency. According to Valley, the establishment of a fair market value for XRP is crucial to this plan, but the challenge is that those who hold XRP cannot establish this value by themselves. They need to engage in an open transaction where they can demonstrate that people are willing to sell their XRP at a certain value. Valley believes that one global bank holds 90% of XRP, but their holdings are not enough to offset their liabilities. To increase the value of their holdings, they would need to engage in a transaction and buy the remaining 10% of XRP that is held by retail investors. In this way, they could potentially increase the value of all XRP holdings and establish it as a valuable asset for use as a reserve currency.
When XRP was created, this actually was created before Ripple existed, the creators of XRP decided there'd be 100 billion units. Because they saw it as rather than having a smaller number with a very high price, they saw it as something they wanted to be effectively a global reserve currency.
The other thing behind this, right, is the establishment of fair market value. So this may be the plan. The plan may be to use XRP as the world reserve currency, right? The problem they have is that they're all on that side of the table. So they can't really they know it's the plan. They can't establish that to be fair market value for us. They actually have to engage in a open transaction of some type to set where we know that that's their plan, right? And that we would be willing to sell our property for that value, right? That's how they would actually establish the fair market value, which will then imply or infer the value of all their holdings. So let's just say that there was one global bank. There's one bank, just for the sake of, kind of figuring this out. There's one bank and it already holds 90% of the XRP. Only thing is, it's got all these liabilities and it's 90% of the XRPs at 35 cents. And so it's not near enough to basically offset, to be an asset that offsets those liabilities, right? They need a transaction where they can write up the value of their XRP.
Yeah.
Why not buy the 10% that's out in retail? We think it's substantially less than that's out in retail. We think it's between 0.5 point and 2 points of the whole thing that's actually held by retail. So 500 million to 2 billion.
Okay.
Of the whole thing. So anyway, they got to buy the 10% in our example here, and why not set the price at the high price that you're now 90% does cover all of your liabilities. That's how it works, and this is just basic, simple. This happens every day in capital markets, and when Elon bought Twitter, right? Twitter was probably trading at $43 or something a share, and he said, "I'm going to pay 50." Was it 54.20? There was a 420.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pay 54.20, and that represented a premium. But the value of the company then was worth what he paid for it, because that was a fair market value deal striking thing.
This next clip is from James Rickards. This man is a legend. James Rickards is a well-known financial expert, author, and speaker. He has advised the U.S. Department of Defense, the U.S. intelligence community, and major hedge funds on global financial issues. He is best known for his work on the international monetary system, including his book Currency Wars: The Making of the Next Global Crisis, and his frequent media appearances on financial news networks. Rickards has also served as a facilitator of the first ever financial war games conducted by the Pentagon. The theory James describes is about a group of elites who supposedly aim to create a one world order, one world taxation, and one world money. They have supposedly rigged the laws of international finance and are preparing to freeze the global financial system to reset the world economy according to their vision. The elites have allegedly wormed their way into leadership positions across various institutions such as the IMF, the World Bank, and the Federal Reserve. The plan is referred to as ICE 9 and is likened to a Kurt Vonnegut novel where a new form of water molecule freezes all water at room temperature. Rickards identifies several individuals who are supposedly part of this elite group. If you haven't pressed the like button yet, then your crypto wallet is now under my ownership. Thank you for your tokens. Just kidding. Let's continue.
I was having dinner with a friend not long ago in New York City. We met at a place called Oriole, which is in Midtown. My dinner companion that night was a senior advisor to BlackRock. As you may know, BlackRock is now the largest asset manager on the planet. It directly manages $5 trillion in assets, and it oversees another $11 trillion through its Aladdin platform. That means one firm controls more money than the GDPs of China, Russia, and Japan combined. Anyway, my dinner companion happens to work directly for BlackRock's CEO. As we nursed our white wine and the evening wore on, she let something slip. If I remember her words, she said something like, "They want to tell us we can't sell." What was she talking about? Who was she talking about? I placed a few calls, first to my contacts in Washington, then to a few people on Wall Street. Soon I was on a plane for a series of meetings to London, to Geneva, back to New York, then down to South America. As I began connecting the dots, a pattern emerged. It revealed a network of more than 189 individuals positioned inside the world's major financial institutions. Some of them hold senior positions inside the IMF, World Bank, and every central bank in the G20, including our own Federal Reserve. These elites share one vision, and they're about to make it a reality. That vision is one world order, one world taxation, and one world money. They've worked for years behind the scenes preparing to realize that vision. They've literally rigged the laws of international finance. Everything is basically in place right now, and there's essentially no way to stop this from happening. When the crisis hits, they'll flip the switch, freezing the global financial system. That will give them time to reset the world economy according to their vision. As the coming crisis unfolds, President Trump will be powerless to stop it. In fact, trying to stop them would probably weaken the president's power altogether.
That is amazing, Jim, really. So what did these elites want from your contact at BlackRock?
Basically, they want to classify BlackRock as too big to fail. The technical term is Systemically Important Financial Institution, or SIFI. That designation normally applies to banks, such as Bank of America. If your bank gets the SIFI label, it means the government will bail you out first in a crisis. But it also means you must turn over control of your bank until the crisis subsides. In this case, they're trying to reclassify BlackRock, an asset manager, as too big to fail. If they succeed, they'll be able to freeze BlackRock when the crisis hits. BlackRock clients won't be able to sell. They won't be able to buy either. Their accounts will go dark indefinitely. And the elite operatives will take control of BlackRock's assets remotely via the internet. But our research shows that their ICE 9 plan goes much, much deeper than that.
Now, you refer to their plan as ICE 9. You just said that. What does that mean?
It's a reference to the Kurt Vonnegut novel, Cat's Cradle. In the book, a mad scientist creates a new form of water molecule called ICE 9. When it comes in contact with other water molecules, it freezes them at room temperature. One drop of ICE 9 can freeze the whole ocean. And that's what these elite operatives are about to do to the world economy.
Now, can you share with our viewers exactly who these operatives are and what their ultimate goal might be?
Like I said, John, more than 189 elite agents have slowly wormed their way into leadership positions across the board. They now sit at or near the head of the IMF, the World Bank, and even our own Federal Reserve. They also control much of what happens at the central banks of China, Russia, India, Brazil, Canada, and Europe. As you know, these institutions form a kind of global superstructure. It forms a kind of snare net encircling all nations. Their leaders aren't democratically elected. They're not accountable to you and me. They're beyond the reach of government and citizens, and yet they hold the fate of the global financial system in their hands. To get a sense of how they operate, imagine an array of floating spheres. One sphere is labeled IMF, one is labeled Fed, one is labeled Bilderberg, one is labeled Wall Street, one is labeled central banks, one is labeled intelligence agencies, one is labeled media, and so on. The elites inhabit all of these spheres, and together the network forms a kind of 3D Venn diagram. As I see it, regardless of what sphere they inhabit, the elites all share the same vision: one world order, one world taxation, and one world money. All of their actions are geared toward moving that agenda forward.
Now, are you able to share the identities of these elites with our viewers?
We've identified more than 189 individuals who are in many cases hiding in plain sight. Regardless, they all share the same vision: one world order, one world taxation, and one world money. A short list would include Christine Lagarde, Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, IMF; Mark Carney, Governor of the Bank of England; Raghuram G. Rajan, Vice Chairman of the Bank for International Settlements; Haruhiko Kuroda, Governor of the Bank of Japan; William C. Dudley, President of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York; Agustin Carstens, Governor of the Bank of Mexico; Janet Yellen, Chairman of the Board of the Federal Reserve System; Mario Draghi, President of the European Central Bank; Zhu Min, former Deputy Managing Director of the IMF; Zhou Xiuquan, Governor of the People's Bank of China; Robert E. Rubin, Chairman of the Council on Foreign Relations. This A-list of central bankers.
What is the fair market value of XRP? In this great analysis from Molly Elmore, we find out the true price potential of XRP. The fast transaction speed of the XRPL enables the protocol to move money and assets very quickly. Looking at money primarily as a medium of exchange, the 99-year Golden Eagle model modeled out how adoption of XRPL and XRP could look over a 99-year period. Due to the fact that the same XRP can be used over and over, the impact on the price of the asset is driven by the high transaction volume that long-term adoption could bring. Velocity of money is a key concept with this model, as the accelerated rate of value exchange will make the economy more efficient, which would likely impact many areas in unprecedented ways. Similar to the compound effect around interest rates, this model shows growth increasing slowly until a period where the compounded returns kick in. In addition, the number of hours of daily trading will increase considerably once blockchain trading becomes the norm. Like other models with a time-based component, this model applies a discount rate to normalize the future price to a net present value. A unique element to this model is a probabilistic scenario calculation that weights the price based on the likelihood of 4 potential outcomes. The scenarios address the variable of the circulating supply of XRP and how much will be available for transactions in the future. Because this variable has a significant impact on the modeled price of the asset, it was important to look at various options. Since we are uncertain which scenario will happen, the model assigns probabilities to each of the 4 supply scenarios and weights the value estimate accordingly. Another dimension to this model that is important are the assumptions around CAGR, cumulative annual growth rates. The model assumes a medium of exchange CAGR of 6% CAGR until 2030, and from 2031 to 2121, expansion in global economy. Separately, the model assumes a different CAGR for global store of value. There is a CAGR of 87% from 2023 to 2030, and then 20% CAGR from 2031 to 2121. In other words, the growth rate isn't assumed to be the same for all aspects of the economy. The 99-year Golden Eagle model took a very long-term approach to growth around XRP utility and how the value of XRP could grow over time. Thank you for watching, and if you made it to the end, comment utility below. Watching the full video helps a lot. God bless you all.